Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope for September 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm doing my horoscopes differently this month, so please watch them in this order. Rising sign first, then sun sign, and finally moon sign. The reason I'm doing it like that is, in my experience reading people's charts, I've noticed that people often identify more with the rising sign or the ascendant than they do with the sun sign. So I want the horoscopes to reflect that. I'm in the UK, so my horoscopes are based on UK time, and I'm going to break September down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay particular attention to what the moon is doing. So the moon stays in each sign of the zodiac for about 2.5 days. That means in 10 days it covers 4 signs, and in 30 days it covers all 12 signs of the zodiac. So I want to follow the moon's journey through the wheel of your chart here in September to see what energy it brings up and what areas of your life that will show up in, and whether that then supports you or doesn't, what to do about it. So the first good bit of good news about September is that Mercury, the communication planet, that has gone direct. It was retrograde in August, so it went direct on the 28th. And if you've had communication issues with or with transportation, that there have been delays or things have been misunderstood or mislaid, expect that to ease off and for things to become much more straightforward. Mercury at the beginning of September in your chart is at 22 degrees in Leo in your 7th house of relationships. So in fact, what's now replaced that sense of confusion is a personal radiance and confidence when it comes to your relationships, both personal relationships and in more formal settings in work. Also, let's have a look at the first week then. So week 1, Sunday to Sunday, the 1st to 8th of September. The first 2 days we've got the moon in Virgo, and that sits in your 8th house of institutions and organizations like the government or the tax office. So anything that needs completing, any paperwork, any red tape that needs sorting out, first 2 days of September are really, really good for that. Also on the 2nd of September, we've got Pluto, the planet of transformation and change. That retrogrades back into Capricorn until the 19th of November this year, and then it goes back into your sign Aquarius until February 2044. So I made a separate video on this in January when it first went into Aquarius, because this is a really significant shift. So Pluto is the planet of life and death, right? Transformation and change, rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes. And when it's in your sign Aquarius, I think it's a much better fit because it's about new ideas coming to life and invention and humanity. When it's in Capricorn, it's about undoing existing structures, it's about letting go of things, and it's about working towards security and then finding it isn't there. So in your case, it retrogrades back into your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. So for you, Aquarius, the experience of it will be much more abstract because you'll be able to do a lot of spiritual work until the 19th of November. So if you've always been interested in spirituality, but you've never really felt that you've made much progress, if you look into things like meditation or Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga, over the next few months, you'll find, or it's very likely that you'll find a practice which really suits you and gives you that connection. On the 3rd of September, we've got the new moon in Virgo, so the moon goes pitch black, it pulls in a lot of Virgo energy, and again it does that in your 8th house. So again, submitting paperwork, filling in forms, anything official, getting your taxes in order, that energy really peaks. And the next day, on the 4th of September, we have another big shift, which is Mars, the planet of ambition and drive, and that exits Gemini and it moves into Cancer and stays in Cancer until the 3rd of November. It moves into your 6th house of health, of daily routine and the structure of your life. And the moon in Cancer in your case really lends itself very nicely for you to get organized. If your diet needs organization, or if your commute could be reduced, or if you want to get all of your calendar entries sorted out. It's really a good time where you can really take care of anything that needs doing, almost like on an errand, organizational / logistics level, and you can really use it to, by the end of September, feel like you're really on top of everything and you're super, super organized. So the first week starts with the moon being in Virgo. Then in the middle of the week, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, it goes into Libra in your 9th house. So that's going to be a good time to explore things that inspire you, things that are artistic, so paintings and music and travel and visiting places where there are beautiful sights and photo opportunities. You'll be very interested in that in the middle of the first week and you'll get a lot out of it. And then the moon goes into Scorpio in your 10th house of career. And that's interesting because the moon in Scorpio is able to uncover hidden secrets and to really get to the root of things, right? And with it here in the last 2 days of the first week, you'll really get a strong sense of where you're at in terms of your career and whether you're satisfied with it or not. And I think that you may even become a little resentful if you feel that you have a lack of freedom in your working life. And that then may lend itself to you having a new idea that would give you more freedom, or that would allow you to at least change the goalposts that are in place when it comes to your work. So the moon in the first week here covers houses 8, 9, and 10. So really it's the search of where you belong in your working life and whether the current situation fits or not. So you may in week 1 be a little uncomfortable, or notice that you're uncomfortable if you're in some sort of very rigid environment, but let that prompt you to have ideas on other options or alternatives. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 9th to 15th of September, the moon is in Sagittarius at the beginning of the week, in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, and also on some level informal relationships. So the beginning of week 2 is really good for, again, travel, adventure, spending time with other people, not being particularly productive, but fulfilling some sort of lifelong dream as well, going to visit a special place. That you'd get a lot of energy and motivation from that. On the 9th of September, we've got Mercury going into Virgo, and it stays there until the 26th of September. So it heightens your ability to really work through red tape and to get things organized. And I would say in September, this is really one of the best years of the month for you, Aquarius, to feel like you're on top of all of your admin. And from that, then things open up that you can pursue more leisure things or things that you enjoy even more. So it's like the idea of someone doing their homework and then having free time to go enjoy themselves. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. On the 11th of September, we've got the moon in its second quarter. And again, that's in your 11th house. So doing something that represents a dream or the adventure will be really inspiring and will fire you up. So at the beginning of week 2, we've got the moon in Sagittarius. Then it goes into Capricorn in your 12th house of spirituality and stays there the 11th, 12th, and 13th of September, where it joins Pluto in Capricorn. So those few days are very, very good for doing the type of spiritual work I mentioned earlier and finding the type of connection that you may not have had in the past. And then at the end of the week, the 14th and 15th of September, the moon goes into Aquarius in your first house of self. And that's a couple of days where some sort of bureaucratic thing that you've been working on will be resolved and is resolved successfully. So if there has been a job application and you're waiting to hear back, it's likely that you hear back on those 2 days. Or if you've been working on some IT problem that you've been trying to resolve, it's likely that you have the breakthrough at the end of the second week. So the houses that are covered in week 2 are the 11th, 12th, and 1st. So it's very much about what is the ideal kind of direction that I'm moving into. Can I find out more about that if I connect to myself, either on an intellectual level, by sorting things out in the real world and freeing up my time, or do I gain some sort of glimmer of a better future through a spiritual practice? So I think in this week, week 2, the thing that's going to be most successful is making that connection to something bigger and getting a sense that I can tap into this inner resource which will guide me in a certain direction when I, on an intellectual level, get stuck on my own. And it's also an end to feeling alone by having this spiritual connection, which I can summon anytime I think of it or want it. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 16th of September until the 22nd of September. This week starts with the moon in Pisces, And on the 17th of September, we have a supermoon, the second supermoon in a row. Supermoon is a full moon that's closer to the Earth than usual, and therefore it appears larger and influences us more strongly. This is a full moon in Pisces, but it's also a lunar eclipse on the North Node. So it's not just going to affect you for a few days, it'll affect you for the next 6 months. And for you, it sits in between Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in your second house of money, and it's illuminated by the Sun and the midheaven and Mercury investor in Virgo in your 8th house of institutions and big groups of people. So the message I'm getting is that you download the big business idea that's going to make you very financially independent in future. If you're an entrepreneur, or if you're an inventor, or if you're a business owner who's been looking to expand, please meditate on your career, on your work, on the idea that you want to generate, manifest. Meditate on that during the time of the supermoon. It's really likely that you get access to some sort of information that allows you to build your own institution. So for instance, it could be someone gets the idea for a business that's a charity at the same time and they start building it. That's the kind of thing I mean. So if you're an entrepreneur but you haven't been particularly inspired lately, really consider your business, your work on the 17th, and you'll get an amazing bit of information. Then the moon moves into Aries. It goes into your 3rd house of communication. So again, the heat that follows that supermoon really says to me that you now immediately jump into action to get things going in the middle of the week, so the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then the end of the week, on the 21st and 22nd, the moon goes into Taurus in your 4th, and that's a nice weekend to decompress and to just say, okay, let me take a breather here for a minute, let me go home, let me cook myself something nice to eat, and let all of these wonderful ideas gestate before I jump back into action. On the 22nd of September, we've got the Sun going into Libra, and for you that goes into your 9th house of, again, education and travel and the higher realms. So for you, what's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as the month goes on is the desire to connect and to figure things out and to understand and to get your hands on the right info so that you can build something really valuable. And I have to say also, you've got around the... I think I'm getting ahead of myself, yeah. So the I'll get to that in a second. But in week 4, the moon goes towards Jupiter. It's a good thing, I'll tell you in a second. But at the end of week 3, so the houses that have been covered in week 3 are the 2nd house of money, the 3rd house of perspective and perception and communication, right? And then the 4th house of home. So I think you're very active in terms of ideas and translating that into business opportunities and creating those in order to have a more solid financial foundation on which you can rely in future. Okay, so now moving into week 4, Monday to Sunday, the 23rd of September, going through until the 30th of September. We start the week with the moon being in Gemini and sitting next to Jupiter, the planet of good fortune. So the 23rd, 24th, and I would say even the 25th of September are ideal for you in romantic relationships. Go on dates if you're single. If you're already in a relationship, it's a wonderful time to do something as a couple. It's really romantic. It's really straightforward and joyous. There'll be lots of laughter, positivity. On the 23rd of September, we've got Venus, the planet of love and beauty. That goes into Scorpio in your 10th house. So you may even become somewhat of a workaholic here towards the end of the month because you're now so focused on getting your idea built that becomes your top priority. Don't miss out on the opportunities for you in love and romance. It's really the silver and gold of Jupiter and the moon in your 5th house of love is not to be ignored. That's a really good opportunity. On the 24th, the moon is in its 4th quarter next to Jupiter, still in Gemini in that 5th house of love. So this is the best day for love and romance and dating in September. And then on the 26th of September, we have Mercury ingressing into Libra, and that goes into your 9th house again of making your life bigger. So anything that you can study or anything new you can experience or anything that gives you a sense of excitement, as in I can't wait to learn more, devote yourself to that even more. It's really a great opportunity to broaden your mindset and your knowledge base. So the last week, we've got the moon in Gemini on the 23rd. Then it goes into Cancer on the 25th, 26th, 27th, the middle of the week. So that again is a good time to get your routine organized, to take care of your obligations so that you can spend more free time. And then when the moon goes into Leo at the end of the month, 28th, 29th, 30th, that again is a wonderful time for romantic relationships and even more formal relationships. If you need to get people on board to buy into your way of doing things, if you want to inspire people with a particular viewpoint, or you have a unique suggestion, the end of the month is a really good time to work with other people to brainstorm, and particularly to get recognition for your idea and your way of doing things. So in that last week then, we've got the moon in a Gemini, Cancer and Leo. So it covers houses 5, 6 and 7. So the final week is really about romantic relationships and how do I kind of build love and romance into my life as more of a regular thing that I experience. It becomes much more important. And you know, Venus being in Scorpio, that's very, very intense. It's strange for you guys, Aquarius, that it's in your 10th house of work and that the love, the intensity is kind of devoted to your career, right? But Venus in Scorpio, usually on its own, is very interested in having some sort of emotional experience. It wants to be seen and to be heard and to be recognized. So if you channel that into your career, it's likely that you'll have that experience or a breakthrough with one of your unique kind of inputs, but it can also really help you, particularly in the last week when it comes to your love life. Okay, so that's what I get for you in September. I hope you have a fabulous month. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. In my personal readings, to draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then please order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where you send me 10 or more significant life events, and I actually work out your time of birth, which is super useful because the chart changes every 4 minutes, so the more accurate the time is, the better. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please, so it shows up in searches. If you hit subscribe for more videos in future, and if you like this video, then please also share it with people who you think might enjoy it as well. I hope you have a wonderful time here in September, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.